Coming on next from the Toad Hall and from Badlands, we've got Adderly and Adderly. I hope I'm saying that right. Adderly? Yay. Oh, Adderly, take off your mute, love.
Also, just to about the donations, there should be a Venmo posted right there at BAQNC. If you want to donate, that's where you go ahead and do it. And that's when you split up.
Thank you. So the Venmo's there. Please, please. This work is so important. We are definitely trying to compensate our people who have come on to speak. And we are using that money to go forward for some harm reduction people in the background, our wonderful ASL interpreters. Thank you all. Yay. So every little dollar counts and helps the cause, because we are trying to create a inclusive and accepting world and community here in San Francisco Bay Area nightlife, as well as the Oakland Berkeley area. We've got Adderly here, and I believe there was someone else joining Adderly.
Yeah.
Phazer. Is that right?
Oh, there you go.
There you are. Okay. You are not. I can't hear you, love. You're. It doesn't say your mute's on, but I can't hear anything you're saying. Maybe you need to turn your volume up. Are you plugged in with? Do you have hearing aids? He's fixing it.
Technical difficulties.
Mic on the computer.
I know that's weird, right?
Time out. We'll time out for you. He'll fix it. I'll go back to Adderly real fast. Adderly, are you here?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, so which bar do you manage out of those two?
So we pretty much co-manage between both bars.
Okay, so the two of you co-manage between the two bars. Okay. And David's getting...
What did that say?
I mean, it's just that it was going to be brutal. I knew...
I hear something on in the background there.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is I knew there was going to be a lot of personal attacks from Rexy and Militia.
Militia.
And not a lot of truth.
Microphone
to be
is
very honest. I have a lot of work to do. I wanted to listen. I wanted to learn any defenses that I wanted.
Someone's in this.
Obviously won't. Time for that.
I'm not sure who's talking.
That's Michael Shaw.
Michael, you might want to turn your...
Sorry, I just got to put it reaching out in a second. So, Monty.
Gentlemen from the edge, you might want to mute yourself.
Yeah, it sounds like they're still in the Zoom.
Everyone knows.
Florida, can you can you get them out of the Zoom? Can you disconnect them, please? So they can have their private conversation? Wow. Okay.
Hi, y'all.
I'm just gonna say, wow. Okay, David and Adderly, you both are here. Adderly, so you guys co-manage Badlands and Toad Hall.
Yes.
So before we so I know you guys know that we're here having a courageous conversation, talking about some of the past injustices that may have been done to people of color. We're going to go through the data first. Melissa's going to take you through the data, and then they have a series of questions for you, and then we are going to do some follow-up questions. But before we even start all of those questions, we saw some news today, so we need to go right to that news first. Breaking news. Yeah. So before we even get into the data,
yes,
what is going on at Badlands?
As you might have seen in the post, Badlands will be closed and will not be reopening. And there will be a new owner for that space.
Okay. Is the owner owning the Badlands space, or is the owner owning the entire building? How is that working?
I do not know the details of it. I just know that, Badlands will not exist anymore by name, and that space will not be Badlands.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Well, here's the thing. We're still going to do the data with you.
Mhm.
Militia's still going to ask all the questions.
Okay.
We'll still do some of the restorative justice questions that we may or may not have. Actually, right now, we don't have anybody for your face-to-face. So we will be taking questions from the audience. So let's go.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to start with the report. Yeah. Here we go. Let's dive in. So I'm just going to sort of bounce back and forth between the two of them since y'all are both here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So inclusivity rating for Badlands, of the 327 respondents, 48 responded and gave Badlands a score of inclusive or very inclusive, and 174 gave Badlands a score of very exclusive or exclusive. And that gave y'all an average score of 1.4 out of 4. And for their safety in Badlands, 312 respondents, of the 312 respondents, 44 gave Badlands a score of safe or very safe, while 162 gave Badlands a score of unsafe or very unsafe, giving you an average score, again, of 1.4 on that. And so your overall ranking of 27, from best being 1 to 27 being lowest, is 27. Moving on to Toad Hall. Same thing, inclusivity rating. Your average score came out on that one to 1.6. And on safety, it came out to 1.8. So your overall ranking on that one in terms of inclusivity was 25 out of 27 and 26 out of 27 on safety rating. All right, so I'm going to hop into the general information that we got from the written responses. Same for every bar. If it applies, it applies. Scenario. The survey showed that many participants felt most nightlife spaces prioritized and centered cis, gay, white men over the other groups of people. Also, the survey showed that women, femmes, Black and Indigenous folks, and trans non-binary folks did not feel safe or included in most nightlife spaces, and that the participants, especially the aforementioned, felt that the lack of representation in staffing and felt a lack of representation on staffing, management, and stage marketing. Toad Hall was mentioned in a case specifically in discrimination against femfolk, and an incident of racial discrimination was mentioned twice. Moving on. The survey also showed that many nightlife spaces struggle to manage a culture of touching without consent. Instances of sexual harassment, assault, and inappropriate touching and groping came up over 30 times. Badlands was mentioned 5 times as being, in the written responses, as being unsafe. It was mentioned that there was sexual assaults or sexual harassments 5 times, and 2 of those involving straight men. It was also mentioned were accounts of exclusion of women, racial discrimination, stolen phones was popular, and poorly trained security. And for Toad Hall, it was noted as depending on the bar backs and new employees to act as security without proper training. And the participant noted that this put staff directly in harm's way. And then lastly, in terms of the sober community, they feel that there is a lack of sober programming or non-alcoholic drinks or menus, and that leads them to feel either unsafe or excluded. So with all that information, I'm gonna go into the questions for y'all, just to get to know y'all bars a little bit better from your mouth to our ears. So number 1, does your bar currently have any Black-centered regular events?
No, we don't. Actually, we don't have any regular social events like that to begin with.
Got you. Is that both bars?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no Black programming, no lesbian programming, trans, POC, none of it. It's just a come down type moment.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on to number 2 then. Are there any Black people in positions of management at either bar?
Not necessarily Black, no. People of color, yes. Myself.
Got you. All right, so we do have a person of color, no Black people. Any member of management that identifies as female?
Not that is known.
Okay, write that down as a no. Any trans members of management?
Again, not that is known.
Again, that's gonna be a no. Moving on to question 3 then. Is there, in terms of the inclusion of sober patrons, is there any mocktail type menus to encourage them to come out and feel welcomed?
We do not have a menu in place. However, we always make an effort to work with the customers, to provide a beverage for them or that service if requested.
Okay, and then does your bar offer Narcan training to its employees, or is that not something that you do?
We do not offer that or have that.
Got you. Would that be something that, do you know, that would be possible to look into for your bar?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, not just for the business, but for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then on the topic of consent and assault and all that not good stuff, does your bar have a strict consent, anti-harassment, anti-sexual assault policy? Because this came up multiple times. Is it posted and enforced?
Well, it is not posted. We do have, harassment policies in our employee handbook, which, if circumstances come to it, unfortunate circumstances, we do, investigate and will enforce, the employee handbook policies that we have.
Got you. So that brings me actually to another question, because it did mention that the staff is required to do the security function. What is your security setup?
So we do, to the best of my knowledge, we do, hire people, for security, and we make sure that they are trained for their position that we hired them for. So when you say, specific, about, having people not being trained for their position, I would really need, more details specifically on when that happened or where it happened. But to the best of my knowledge, we've always tried to make sure that everybody knew what their roles were and that they were properly trained for them.
Okay, hold on for 1 second, sweetheart. So you were saying you need more. Okay, it's a yes or no question. It's like either they were trained or they were not trained. And what is the training? Like, is it 1 day, 2 days, 5 days? Do I shadow? Do I not shadow? Is there a handbook? That's the question. So we need a more succinct. So that's why I'm gonna make sure you know what's going on there.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
The statement, to reiterate the statement, was that they noted that the bar depended on, this is specifically towards Toad Hall, depended on on bar backs and new employees to act as security without proper training, putting the staff in harm's way. I believe there was also something related to that in terms of Badlands, now that I think about it. And it goes, just that it's the same thing, that staff is relied on as security versus an actual security. So when you say I'm confused on your answer on that.
Well, what I mean by that is we do, make, to the best of our ability, make sure that they are, trained for whatever their position they are scheduled for. So if it comes to it that, we have to, rearrange our resources for that certain night, that means that we would hypothetically, pull somebody else from a certain position and, place them, for, like you said, as security or door person. And obviously we do, I should say, make sure that they know the procedures for that position.
And when you say hypothetically, you mean that it has happened, that your staff has been pulled from their scheduled spot to work as a security individual? I don't know what hypothetically necessarily means in this.
When I say hypothetically, I mean, things happened and we cannot control the actions or what happened in our employees' life, personal life. So yes, we've of course, there's been scenarios or situations where we had to, refocus our resources on what's important, and the safety of our customers is very important.
Okay, so let me jump in real quick here. So I understand that things happen, business happens. We have business every day, and we have sick calls, and we have people. So the question is, and I guess the answer is no, because it sounds like everybody in the bar is not trained on proper procedure to do a proper job at the security position to fill in. Because if everybody is trained, if you're cross-utilizing people, then that means you have to cross-train them, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so that means that everybody is not cross-trained. Okay, moving on.
Afrika, do you have any questions?
I do have a few.
Yeah.
I do have a few. I think some came up in the chat, and I'm going to go to the chat right now. So one of the things in the chat that people ask, can we get a promise to hire BAQNC and FEMS, not just in bartending jobs, but in management as well? And can we get a chance to diversify what we're talking about here? I believe that you said you have a person of color, you, in a management position, but we have nothing else. We have no one else. So can you guys commit to having more representation when the bar reopens? Not just you, Adderly. We're specifically looking to see visible representation in the bar. That's at management, that's at bartending, that's at go-go, if you guys decide to have go-go's in Toad Hall. I don't think you guys do have go-go's in Toad Hall. And also, will you have women and or femme presence in the bars as well in those positions? Can you guys commit to something like that?
The reason that we are here is for that purpose. We want to learn. We want to take guidance from this new coalition that you guys have put together, and we want to move forward. Not just to better the bar, but actually better the community. And our presence here is already starting that process. So of course, we want to do everything we can, to bring back inclusiveness to the community.
Nice. There were no other questions in the chat.
Afrika.
Go ahead. Yes, go please.
Afrika. The person who signed the pledge, the inclusivity and safety pledge, was that Les Natali?
That was him. Yes.
Right, and that's for both bars. However, we have this moment now where the bar is switching hands in some way. So for me personally, that's a little bit odd. I know you said, to the best of your knowledge, you're not really sure how that's working. Can we get a commitment from the management to sign the inclusivity and the safety pledge?
For which bar specifically?
Both.
Well, since the post about Badlands closing, we really have no say until the new owner comes in and utilizes that space for whatever, thing they choose to do it. So I cannot say or speak on their behalf.
I'm not saying on their behalf. I'm saying that you as a manager cannot commit to conducting your position with safety and inclusivity in mind.
Oh, my position.
That's what I said.
Oh, no. I thought you said about the other bar and
No.
Badlands and Toad Hall. Sorry, I got that mixed up.
You.
Just me. Then yes, of course I do.
Okay. Good.
So, and does that, David, you're quiet over there.
His
his
microphone's
thing is working still. Oh, you're right. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. It looks like a head nod though.
Good. Gentlemen, I believe we're done with you for the evening. We don't have any more comments. Good luck with Toad Hall.
Thank you.
Are you guys going to be doing anything? Are you guys going to be doing anything with adding to the businesses like food and opening up like the other bars? Are you thinking about doing that? Is that something that's going to happen for you?
We're at the moment we are not really sure about those kind of things right now.
All righty.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys post-COVID then with a whole new attitude.
Yeah.
Like Patty LaBelle. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you for having us.